In this video, I will show you why Resident Evil 5 has the best mercenaries of all the Resident Evil games, but let's start in the beginning where it all started. First minigame that was released on a Resident Evil game was called Battle Game, a game mode where you just have to beat stages, 15 to be exact, with Jill or Chris. The only difference, Jill gets an extra weapon, the bazooka. The only downside is, it is only on the Saturn version of the game, so it makes sense that even if you're a big fan of the franchise that you didn't even know about this game mode. So, what is it all about? I already told you that it has 15 stages. You have 3 checkpoints where in stage 1, 6 and 11 you go to the safe room. You lose by running out of ammo, but only if you didn't have the combat knife in your pocket, and of course if you take too much damage like normal. So now where you all have been waiting for the boss. You have Jan the big snake in stage 5. We have of course everyone's favorite Plant 42 in stage 8. But now it actually gets juicy. In stage 12 you have to beat a zombie version of Wesker, never seen before. And in stage 15, the coolest thing you ever seen, a golden T002 Tyrant. That's crazy. Why can they not put that in other games? Why? After all that, you will get like every other RE game a ranking, but not like normal from S to D. But in this game, they actually thought, what if we just put an extra 6 ranking? So in this game, you can actually get ranked from S being the best all the way through J being the worst. And that's it. Extreme Battle, the second minigame in the series that was released in late 1998 re-release of the DualShock version of RE2, but it's still not called the Mercenaries. So now they have changed the whole game mode from a stage game mode to where you have to go from point A all the way to point B. But that's not all it. You still have to find 4 virus bombs that are scattered around the whole police station, and these are not always on the same place. So it is not like you will have a perfect route you can learn. They will always be different and makes it so that the game mode is replayable more than once. After getting all the bombs that are scattered around the station, you will be teleported to the train where you leave being the hero that saved Raccoon City. So now, to round it up, you can choose 4 characters to play this that are Leon, Claire, Ada and as guest character Chris Redfield. And they all have their one set of items to play around with. You can even make it harder and easier by choosing between 3 levels that go from easy to hard. This will change the amount of ink ribbons you have, because you can actually save in this mode, the amount of ammo you can find and the damage you and the enemies do. To top it all off, in level 3 the hardest difficulty, after a while there is even a final boss William Birkin roaming around just to make it even harder than it is supposed to. You can find extra weapons through the map, so you can strengthen your character. Again, like the last one, you can get a grading on how you did, but this time with just time and not a ladder. Resident Evil. Now we are finally there. We are so close to the real Mercenaries mode we all know and love. I'll keep it short for Resident Evil 3 because it's pretty similar as Resident Evil 2. First of all, the first minigame we all had by the first release of the game, so no specific additions needed. The real difference that it is finally called Mercenaries. We can now choose between 3 characters, our umbrella mercenaries we have met in the real game. We can play with Carlos, Mikhail and of course the beast himself, Nikolai.
I'm Nikolai, and I hate you!
The bombs from Resident Evil 2 are now swapped around with 6 hostages you can save from the vicious zombies. They will now as well give you time with every hostage saved. Saving the hostages are a 100% optional as well. It will give you more points and time for the completion of the mode though. You will get time for killing enemies and even bonuses for which weapon and how you kill them. To make it pretty hard is that you will have to run through several holes and nemesis that can be a pain in the ass. Yes, several nemesis, plural, there can be more than one in the same area. So at the end, if you saved a few hostages, killed a few zombies, maybe a nemesis, you will get greeted in this dark room by supposedly Chief Irons and his secretary to give you the points that you deserve to get by how well you played. And this is the first mercenary mode that will reward you for playing, because the combination of your time and how you played your grade will translate in how much money you get, and with the money you can unlock weapons and infinite ammo. So now the introduction is finally done and we all know how we got there. Let's finally discuss why Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries is better than 4 and 6. Let's keep it simple. Let's look at the unarguable fact that RE5 is the best character roster of this game mode. First of all, Resident Evil 4 can't keep up with this. They only had your starter Leon and add up Ada, Hung, Krauser and Ant Wesker. Even though this is a clean and a roster with only big W's, only 5 characters can beat the other 2 games. So for second place, we have Resident Evil 6. Here we have the most unique characters of the bunch. 9 unique characters, that's a lot of characters, but as well, they all have their own alternate costumes. Only 2 don't, the Agent and Carla. And that is where my problem lies. There are 9 characters where we only care about 3 of them. Maybe 4 if you really like Sherry, that was previously from RE2, but I can't say I can. Now go to Resident Evil 5's roster, and yeah, you can make the argument here that there are only 4 unique characters. But there are a few buts in here. First of all, Chris and Sheva have both 3 costumes, and you have Jill and Wesker with both 2 costumes. So with this you can say they could never take the number 1 spot with these, but 3 of the 4 characters are actually OGs and are very big fan favorites of the series. With Chris, Jill and Wesker all being from the first game ever that was released. Then to top it all off, they came with a DLC that was called Reunion, and here is where they made the roster from good to legendary status to me. Of course they had to give us another 2 costumes for Chris and Sheva that you as well can put in the main game, but that is not why the roster is perfect. We now get the playable Josh and Excella that are both a good choice for DLC, and first ever playable Barry and Rebecca that are so cool, because Barry has this cool and charismatic look and I love all his moves, definitely the headbutt. I don't know how the man can last this long with no brain damage. Then there is Rebecca, love her attitude, the way she fights, it actually feels so real. She's supposed to be this medic of the group, so the little details that she can just move her full body away from the enemies as she tries to flamethrow them, because she isn't the most bravest of all characters. I love it. Let's talk about stages. I'm gonna be very honest right here. I'm gonna put Resident Evil 6 as last place. The reason why is because of the last time I played it, I can't remember even a single map. The only map I can remember is the first stage called Urban Chaos. I have no more to say, yeah, that was already 6. Second place, and the same problem as last time, is that Resident Evil 4 has just doesn't enough stages to beat 5. But as well, they are more memorable than the stages of 6. I must say the stages in 4 are pretty linear and easy to understand, so that's why second place for them. And at first, of course, we have the best RE5. This is because there are enough stages to have fun with and they all play very different. As well, I like about this one is that how further you go in the stages, how harder they become. But not only in characters, I give an example, the first and last stage. In the first stage, it is pretty simple. There are a few houses you can go in or climb up to, and there's only one main space. It's a small area, so even if your first playthrough on this map, I think generally everyone will get every time statue. But then you see the prison, a very complex place with a lot of different areas where maybe even after 5 playthroughs you don't even understand the half of the map. The enemies as well are very strong and tough and in other maps, so this is what I like over the other games. Let's end it here with the last category, difficulty. I would say you can't rank this because some people really love some brutal difficulty like playing the Dark Souls games, but even though I still think the best for me is Resident Evil 5, of course. So the easiest of the 3 is RE4. Must say I'm not 100% certain of this, but I can't really remember even a hard bit. Yes, of course, in the last stage you have to fight this big one-shot chainsaw enemy that keeps swinging until he's dead, but that's only one enemy. Maybe I am confusing it with the remake because that version was actually for babies, and in the original you only have to get above 60,000 points for the highest ranking. Then we have arrived at RE5, and this is the most balanced. It has some harder stages and some easier stages, but overall it is always fun, of course. I'm not saying that although were not fun, but every single place has his own little team around it. Yes, 4 and 6 has this as well, but it doesn't feel the same. The ranking as well is in between the two, and here you need 90,000 points for highest ranking, and this is not impossible for some people, but if you don't perfectly know what to do, you will surely struggle, and that's what I think makes RE5 so much better than the other two. Yeah, all around I think RE6 and 4 have the better and worse things going for them, but overall is Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries the best of the 3. As I know I didn't talk about the remake, but can you blame me? It only has 3 maps, wasn't even playable on the first day, and the only change they made is Wesker, changed into Lewis. Like, come on man, do some work Capcom. And where are all the rest of the DLCs, man?